Okay, I want to show you a quick tutorial on resampling in Acid Music Studio. Okay, and the whole point behind resampling, if you're not aware of it, in relation or in terms of creating dubstep basses, is both to enhance the size of the sound by resampling the same sound multiple times and adding different layers of effects each time to increase the size and the complexity and the depth. Tons and tons of things that you can use this technique for. But basically, the first thing you want to do is just create your initial sound that you're going to be working with. And in this case, I just go ahead and make up you can either do a riff, or in this case, I'm just going to create a sample, basically, to work off of. And enable inline editing. Drop down so I'm in the C4 range for most of these sounds. Actually, this one I want to be in C. Okay, and this, I'm just going to create a very basic, I believe it's the re space. Well, not necessarily. This is just your basic square wave bass. I'm not even sure what a re space is. I've never bothered to mess with that, so I'm just going to use a very simple one, as in one bar right on the 4 there, and the 3, which is going to be the sub part of the bass. And for the sub, I'm going to use, this would be, of course, for doing Acid Music Studio, but same thing will work. Sine wave for that one, and square waves for the others. And a square on that one. Okay, and then we've got, if we stretch this out just a little bit more, we've got some other options, including pitch bend, which just slightly moving this will give it some of that detuning. Don't want to push it too far. So you have just a fairly straightforward big bass sound. Go ahead and push this up so we're hitting a pretty strong. Okay, at this point we've got a -10 on the master channel, and we actually want this bigger. So let's go ahead and duplicate all the squares out. Okay, that's still not doing anything different. Make this a bit bigger. Okay, so that gives us a -3.8 on the. Go ahead and turn it up just a bit more. Okay, and that's just. It's just on the verge of clipping. But since this is essentially, we're making a sample to use, we want it to be nice and loud. So then, basically, what I'm going to do now, or not basically, I'm going to pause the video recorder, and then I'm going to render this out as a file, a WAV file. Okay, so pause it right quick. Okay, you can see here I've got my folder where I keep samples that I make in 1 bar bass sample. Okay. It's already nice and huge sounding. We can go ahead and drop that a little bit. In fact, since we're going to be layering effects on it now, we'll probably drop it back a lot. And the first thing we're just going to do is put a distortion on it. Okay, that might be a bit too much. Let's try getting the skew all the way up. Definitely makes it nice and big. So now let's try, pause this right quick and toss a couple effects on here. Okay, so I've added on 3 effects: the CMT Bit Crusher, Express FX Distortion, and a Formant Bank, or it's called Formant Bank. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is add on this Bit Crusher, which basically down samples it automatically. It makes it sound like it's been sampled tons and tons and tons and tons of time to create a lesser quality, but that also makes it sound grittier. Okay, now you see here we're getting a nice, big sounding, almost operatic sounding. But it's got the nice robotic overtone going on, just different added qualities there. Okay, let me pause this again. Okay, now we've got, I've rendered it out again, once again, as another wave file. I've resampled it, okay, and now I'm going to add on, let's see, pause this. Okay, now I've added on this effect right here called Destroyer. Okay, it's another kind of a bit crusher distortion effect, and with that on there we get, and now we're starting to get a really dirty, messed up effect. Okay, and now we're going to add on a chorus, okay, and you're kind of probably going to be thinking, if you're used to doing production but you're not used to this sort of production, you're going to be thinking, a chorus? Why? Makes it wider, okay, bigger, okay. And at this point it's hitting more on the right channel than the left, so make a minute adjustment, about 7%. And now it's back to normal. let's see how what frequencies we're hitting at. You would probably be able to see partially on that because of the different effects on there. We've actually got it hitting or playing different ways, different times. So at this point, what I'd probably go ahead and do is stretch it out a few times, maybe an 8 bars worth, alright, so that I can get a decent, actually, that's a full 8 bars, okay, which gives me several different ways that's going to hit. Okay. See on that it changes over time. Okay. So at this point, once again, I'm going to pause it and resample it again. Okay, and so as you can see right now, we've got a full 8-bar loop of all kinds of different, bits, and that gives us a nice, big, raw, nasty sounding bass to work off of. Okay, and now we get to the point where it starts getting interesting. This is where you would go ahead and create different sounds in general that you can take and then make into a song. So I'm going to pause this right quick and add on a couple more effects. Okay, for starters, I've used this effect right here. It's called M Stereo Expander. I just used a preset for bass. And basically what it's doing is that it's separating different frequencies into different stereo channels, so it makes the sound a lot wider, bigger. Let you listen to that. Okay, and yeah, the differences are kind of subtle, but I'll go ahead and play it and turn it on and off and see if you can hear it. As I said, the differences are subtle, but in the overall effect, scheme of things, it does add a lot of width and size to your sounds. Okay, pause this again and add on another effect for it. Okay, and the effect I've added on now is called D-Blue Glitch. It's version 1.3, and this is just an automated glitch effect. So basically what I would want to do here is go ahead and create probably about 32 bars worth of the bass, and then just play it through. Okay, now basically all I'm letting it do is just playing through randomly, maybe add a couple of larger bars in here, maybe even go ahead and do this 3 or 4 times and then render it out, and then just go through and cut out the pieces that sound really cool or that you want to use for a song. And that is resampling done with Acid Music Studio. It's just sampling the same sound, as I said at the beginning, over and over a few times, and then applying some random stuff, then just cutting and out what sounds really cool to you, and then you use those bits and bobs to make your songs. And that's basically how Datsik does it. I mean, he's a lot better at it, no doubt, and probably can really make sounds that he wants to make without having to experiment a whole lot. But this is basically how they do it. To get the big sounds and get all the weird different kinds of noises and stuff going on, but still keep them kind of consistent, but different. It's just making these big big, wide, massive bass sounds and then cutting them up with different effects. You know, you can use this like the glitch one I just showed you. You can apply different other filters and stuff in there. Of course, your old school, your regular LFO to make it wub wub wub, or in this case, it would probably be more of a wah wah wah. For example, the one I like to use is this one. And it's just an LFO, turn on your stuff, put the range all the way up and sync it. Turn the glitch off, and then you get so, yeah, I mean, that's all there is to it for resampling right there, baby. I hope you found that useful. It's definitely a cool technique to explore if you in your dubstep tracks. It's not one that I use a whole lot because I think it's a little overused, plus it takes forever to really get cool sounds. But if you want something that has that particular, that sound, if that's what you're going for, this is how they do it. So once again, thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. Much appreciated. Subscribe if you want to see future videos and all that good junk. And be some good times, baby. See you later.